Hello, so I thought I would kill two birds with one stone today. I am going to get my passport pictures taken, and then I'm going to my mum's for a barbecue. So I thought while I've actually got a bit of makeup on and I look semi-decent, I may as well film this next like kind of Florida vlog. So my passport actually expires next year, and now that I've got a new name, I thought I may as well quickly get it updated now and get my passport renewed, because I've been hearing all these horror stories about how long they're taking to come back. And whilst we haven't got like another abroad trip booked just yet, well, obviously just next year's holiday, I thought I'd get it done now before we go away next year. And for those of you that don't follow me on Instagram, you wouldn't know that we actually got married back in May. And I just wanted to say a huge thank you for all of you that did watch and enjoyed our Florida vlogs. And I am so sorry that it took me so long to get them uploaded. But like, what with the wedding and the honeymoon and hen do's and stag do's, and just in general, we had loads of wedding plans going on. And with working full time, I just did not have a spare 5 minutes to like upload the vlogs and then edit them. Every spare minute of mine I was trying to like squeeze in like working out and like cooking, and it was just, yeah, the first half of this year was just manic for us. And yeah, I'm so sorry, it literally took me 6 months. Yeah, because we got back in January, 6 months to get the last one uploaded. So thank you if you watched them. I've received so many lovely messages over on Instagram. Every time it took me a while to upload one, somebody would like message me and be like, oh, are you still gonna carry on uploading? So I'm really sorry, but I am really appreciative for those of you that did stick around and that you... So yeah, so since we've come back from Florida, I've had so many messages on Instagram basically asking like, how do you book, how do you save, how do you plan a Florida holiday? And I know that some of you will be experts at this yourself, but there are some people out there that are newbies to this who might not have been to Florida, or haven't been since they were kids, and like their parents booked it for them. And I know how overwhelming it can be, especially with all the new changes that Disney have brought in. So I'm just going to do like a little roundup on this video of like how I book our holidays and how we save for them, because again, it's an expensive holiday, so it's, yeah, it's a lot to take on. So yeah, I just thought I would give a few tips of what works for us. So the main questions I got asked were how we budget for Florida, how we afford to go, where we book, who we book through, how we plan it, if we like do a full plan. So what I thought I would do with this video is just do like a little breakdown of each section of like how I do each part, and I'm going to do it in order of how I do things when I book our holidays, and it's just something that works for us. So yeah, hopefully you'll find this helpful, and if I'm waffling on, I'm sorry. Also, I'm sorry if it sounds a bit blurry with the noise here, because I'm actually sat next to my fan right now because this heat is next level, and yeah, the fan is my best friend. But yeah, so I'm going to start off with how we book our holidays, because that's probably the most important thing, because you can't really do anything unless you've got holiday booked. Our holidays always vary in how we do them, so we quite often will go as like a big family, like with extended family, so like my brothers, my brother, his partner, their kids, and my sister, and like nieces, nephews, and I've got nieces and nephews that are like in their 20s now, so it's not like going away with like little kids, like they're all adults. So if we was to do a big holiday like that, we have a villa. So how we book that holiday is different to how we sometimes book our other ones, because personally, for when we do a villa holiday, we do everything separately. And then when I go away with just like my mum and my dad and like Daniel, we will do like a package holiday. And to be honest, we won't stay on site very often, because for us, we would rather stay off site and be able to afford to go more frequently than stay on site, which is a bit more a lot more expensive, to be honest. So our last two trips that we'd went on, so for the one we just went on and the one in 2019, that was a package holiday, and both of those ones were booked through BA. That was just purely down to price. We don't care who we book with, we don't care who we fly with, anything like that. I just look online, and whoever comes out for the cheapest for the dates that we've chosen are the people that we book through. Next year's holiday is a little bit different, and I'm a bit of a newbie to on-site stays, but yeah, so I'll get onto that holiday a little bit later. But yeah, so what I done for our last two holidays, when the borders opened up last year, we decided we wanted to go. We already had a holiday booked. It was meant to have been mine and Daniel's honeymoon, and we were going to be staying on site. We were doing a mix of on site and off site, so that holiday was a bit of a whirlwind, and it kept getting pushed back and postponed because the borders hadn't opened. So we cancelled that one, and we just booked I say cheap, it's not cheap, but it is cheaper, package. And we kind of have a rough idea of when we wanted to go. So for last year we knew we wanted to go in December, sort of around Christmas, maybe New Year. So I, again, as I said, looked on BA, I looked on TUI, I looked on Virgin, and I think that was it, really. That's the main three that I personally look at. And I also look at doing it separately, so I was like, see what comes out better. Sometimes I look on like booking.com and Skyscanner for flights, but when you want to do a holiday like that, I do personally think a little package is a bit easier. So yeah, so when I started off on the BA website, and I just priced up pretty much just before Christmas, just after Christmas, like that period in between Christmas and New Year. And genuinely, by flying on certain days, like different days, you can save yourself so much money. So for last year we looked at going just before Christmas, and then again, as I said, just after Christmas, and the cheapest dates for us came out around, we ended up flying on the 29th, I believe it's the 29th, it was either the 28th or the 29th, no, it's the 29th of December, and that was like the whole holiday, like per couple, because my mum and dad booked one and me and Daniel booked one, it was like £1,500 cheaper just by going like those 5 days. Yeah, because we were looking at like the 23rd, so that 5-6 days later saved us, well, nearly £3,000 in total, like with my mum and dad and mine and Daniel's. So yeah, so definitely like play around with your dates. If you have like an idea of when you want to go, like a month, like if you're not too specific on dates, then definitely just play around, like literally just like click on each different day for the amount of days you want to go, and it will just give you all the different prices. And that's just what I do. Like takes like, well, it doesn't even take very long. Sometimes I'm just sat there on the computer whilst I'm like a bit quiet at work, and I'll just do that. So yeah, so literally just play around with your dates, see which one comes up best. I always look at one airline first, and then kind of get like an idea of which dates are coming out cheaper, and then I'll check with the other airlines as well, like the BAs and the Virgins and the TUIs, and see what their prices are. And for both of our last 2 trips, BA was like £400 cheaper than Virgin, like per couple. So we just thought, well, we may as well just go with BA, like that's £400 extra spending money that we could have brought with us instead. So once I've like kind of found a date that is like cheapest, I then just start looking at the hotel options that are coming up, like when you click the package. So you just select your dates, the number of days you want to go for. Personally, like we have been to Florida quite a few times now. I've been going since I was little, so we know the areas that we like to stay in. So like the International Drive area, we also really like Kissimmee. So then I kind of have a look at the hotels that come up, and then I'll just like if one takes my fancy, I'll just quickly look on TripAdvisor as well, just to see the reviews of that hotel, because we aren't too fussed where we stay, because at the end of the day it is kind of, we just use it for a bed. We like a decent pool, so sometimes we can chill around the pool in the afternoon. But yeah, we're not overly fussed, but obviously you don't want to stay in somewhere that's a complete dive or that's like a bit rough or anything like that. So I will have a look on TripAdvisor for those things. So in 2019 we stayed at Floridays. That was nice, nothing special. It was just like, it was like an apartment, so we actually had like our own kitchen and bits like that, so it was nice. Then you could like cook in the like, well, not that we ever cook in Florida, but like we buy like breakfast stuff, and we'll have like breakfast in some mornings. And last year we stayed at the Doubletree by Hilton, which is literally right next to SeaWorld. Again, it was an okay room, nothing like, genuinely wasn't like a special hotel, but as I said, we use it for a bed, bathroom, and some days we'd go around the pool in the afternoon. So obviously, yeah, you do need to choose like the area that you want to stay in. The reason we like both, obviously, Kissimmee and International Drive. International Drive is very like central to everything. When we stayed there on our last 2 trips, we were literally like 10 minutes either way to like the Universal parks and to the Disney parks, and the same with Kissimmee. Kissimmee's a little bit further, I'd say, from Universal, but maybe about 15-20 minutes. And then from where we stay in Kissimmee, we quite often stay on a villa complex there. It was literally like 12 minutes from door to door, from our like villa door all the way to Animal Kingdom. So that's personally why we like those areas, but also because there's a lot of restaurants that we know and shops and yeah, just bits like that. So they're the two areas personally that we like to stay in. We've stayed in, I think, Lake Buena Vista as well, but there's nothing against that. We just personally prefer the other ones, and I feel like I've said personally like 400 times, but again, I don't want to be saying, oh, this is better, that's better. It's just our preference. Again, another good tip for finding like a semi-decent hotel. Again, I don't want to be saying this is that like stating the obvious, because I know a lot of you probably do this, but again, if you've not booked a holiday before, you don't always know. So I always like filter the requests of like a holiday that I like. So like on the side, like on, for instance, British Airways website, you can just like choose your filters. And one of the things I always do is I click TripAdvisor for like, I don't know if it's 4-star or like 4 ratings and above. So then anything below that, I know I personally wouldn't want to stay there. So again, with the personal, yeah, I know I wouldn't want to stay there. So that's just what I do. So last year we paid, it was $900 per person for 2 weeks at the DoubleTree by Hilton with our British Airways flights. So per couple, me and Daniel paid with that $1,800, and so did my parents. We were all on the same booking, but like we split it off, so we had 2 different rooms. And then I think in 2019 when we stayed at Floridays, again, we'd done the exact same thing, but we were staying at obviously a different location, different hotel, and we paid 800, and I want to say it was either 14 or 16, so 800 and let's say 16 pounds per person, so very similar price. So once the actual holiday is booked, the next thing I think is most important is your park tickets. Obviously, if you are planning to go there and do the theme parks, you want to get them booked, especially now with the Disney changes, because you have to do the park reservation. You want to get your tickets sorted, you want to get them booked so that you, and paid off. If you don't book direct with Disney, say if you booked for attraction tickets, which is where we normally get our tickets from, you have to pay them off in full. So once they're paid off in full, you can get your code, which you put on the My Disney Experience app. We normally do, I'm saying normally because next year's a little bit different, but how I normally do it is I go online on attraction tickets and I look at their Orlando theme park ticket like packages. We normally go for the, I think it's called the combo, just the Disney Universal combo. I know there's a flexi as well, which includes like the SeaWorlds and stuff like that, but we normally do Discovery Cove separate, so I'll get onto that again in a minute. But yeah, so attraction tickets, click on Universal Studios and like the Disney combo ticket, and you can then choose to pay a deposit or pay them off in full. If you're booking your holiday like really far in advance, say like a year, 2 years in advance, or even like quite a few months ahead of time, you don't need to pay your tickets off straight away. The only reason I say you should is so that you can book those park pass reservations. Because if you're going at a busy time, say if you're going at Christmas or New Year, or when there's like a big event on or a big holiday on, say even like when it could be summer holidays where it's a bit busier, you might struggle. If you're booking them really close in advance to the time you're going, you might struggle to get the theme parks booked on the days that you want. Obviously you can park hop after 2 p.m, but if say you wanted to be in Magic Kingdom in the morning on Christmas Day, then you want to be able to get that booked as soon as possible before it's going to sell out. So that is why I would recommend that you book and pay for your tickets like as soon as you can. If you have a package booked with Disney, and I only know this because this is the first time we've done that I've booked a Disney package, which is what we're doing next year. We haven't paid the full balance yet. We've only paid our deposit, and we've got the hotel and tickets package, and we can already make our park pass reservations because we've got a Disney booking and they've already given us like your code, so it's already linked in My Disney Experience. Yes, so I'm not sure if it works directly like if you're just booking your tickets through Disney, but yeah, so I'm not a complete expert in that bit, but this is just what I know from previous trips. But the reason why we are also using attraction tickets for all of our other tickets is because we've had such good customer service from them. There's been 3 occasions now where we've misplaced tickets whilst we've been in Orlando. My mum lost them on 2 occasions, and if you saw in the vlog from when we just went, it was actually Daniel's fault, misplaced our park tickets, and we were on the phone to attraction tickets. They were on the phone to Universal like guest services, like talking to each other, trying to like sort it all out, and yeah, it all got resolved in the end. But like we didn't even pay for the extra, like because they do like a ticket cover pass thing where you pay a little bit extra to have your tickets covered in case you lose them. We didn't even pay for the extra, but because they knew of our booking number, that's how we were able to trace that we did have the tickets. And a top tip I would have for you, if you buy Universal tickets, take a picture of the back of them, because on the back of them there's a serial code. So if you lose your tickets and when you call whoever you bought them from or guest services, because of that serial code that's on the back, they can track back and they can like reissue them for you quicker. And that was the issue that we had. They was trying to like, because my mum and dad still had their tickets, they was trying to like work out whose was whose, and it got a bit confusing. So yeah, take a picture of the back of your Universal tickets and it will save you a lot of headaches if you lose your tickets. Hopefully you don't lose them, but in case you do. But yeah, with Disney ones, because it's all linked in your because my mum lost her Disney ones, we just went to guest services at Hollywood Studios, and because of the My Disney Experience app, they were able to just reissue the tickets there and then. So it's not so much of an issue with Disney, but yeah, with the Universal ones, definitely take a picture of the back of them. Yeah, and we book our Discovery Cove tickets separately. Again, obviously you don't have to do Discovery Cove, but if you are, we book it separately. Last year we booked it at the Black Friday sale, so we got it for like mega cheap. It was like £100 per person or £109 per person with the dolphin swim. And you can also pay for like the ultimate ticket, which includes access to SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, Aquatica, and you get free parking at those locations if you have that ticket. But yeah, so either way that you do it, you can pay your tickets off in full, or you can, like what we do is pay a deposit and then just like pay them off in installments. But I do try to pay them off. I think it's like 6 to 8 weeks before you go that they have to be paid off. But for us, we try to book it and pay it off well before that so that we can book those park days now. So now I'm going to get on to booking the park days. Yes, so booking your park days. This is something you want to get done as soon as you can, really. Once those tickets are paid off, get them all booked in. What I do is just have like a little rough plan. Like we know personally that on our first day, on our first day, we want to go to Magic Kingdom. If you're going to, like, for me, it's just like, once you're there, you know you're in Florida. It's like real Disney, it's the castle, it's just, even it, like, I would say Magic Kingdom doesn't have any of my favourite rides, like actual favourite rides, but once I'm there, I just know I'm actually there and I'm on holiday and all the wait and the saving's been worth it. So that's what we like to do on our first day. So I roughly always have a bit of a plan in my head of what days I want to go to the parks anyway. Obviously it's like a bit later on into the holiday, like after your first like 4 to 5 days, when you've kind of done everything you really wanted to do, or at least just see, that's when I like to, well, previously liked to have a bit of a free flow of just being able to wake up and decide where we wanted to go on the day. So it kind of has taken that element away a little bit, but you can still park hop. So it's not the end of the world, because you can just pop out to the park that you might have wanted to go to. It's just a little bit, yeah, it is a bit annoying, I will admit. Yeah, especially if you're going in one of those like busier periods, summer holidays, Christmas, Easter, things like that. Get it all booked so that you aren't stressing, and then you're not going to be like missing out on the park that you wanted to go on to on Christmas Day if you were there for Christmas Day, for instance. But also don't stress about it too much, that if you have a park day booked and you want to change it whilst you're on the holiday. Like we were there and it was like sometime in January where it was still really busy. We originally had Animal Kingdom booked, but the night before when we were out for dinner, we changed our mind and we said, oh, why don't we go here tomorrow instead? So I just went on the app, cancelled Animal Kingdom, and then I think it was Epcot, and booked Epcot instead. So you can still do bits like that, but yeah, and you do like have to, with park hopping, obviously, as I was saying, that you can still park hop, you can only park hop if you've been to that park that you've already booked for the day. So say if you had Epcot booked for the morning, and you wanted to go to Animal Kingdom in the afternoon, you wouldn't be able to go to Animal Kingdom until you had swiped your card at Epcot. So that's the only thing with park hopping. You have to have been to your first park of the day before you can go to another park, which I know like a few people found, got a bit confused. There was a few questions I was getting on Instagram about that. There was like, well, what if you just wanted to go to Magic Kingdom for the fireworks and you hadn't been to Epcot in the morning? Like if that was your booked park, that doesn't matter. You cannot get into another park until you have been to that first park that you've booked. Doesn't really make sense to me why Disney have done that, but that is the rules. And also if you see the vlog, me and Daniel tried to like get into a theme park like think it was like 10 minutes earlier than you were allowed, and they, like before the park hopping, they don't let you in until 2 p.m. So yeah, bear that in mind for if you want to park hop. But yeah, try not to worry about it too much, because I was worried that it was going to make the holiday feel a bit too planned, if that makes sense. But I like to plan a holiday, I will admit that. So that's genuinely, I think I'm a bit of a planner in all areas of life. I loved planning our wedding, I love the build up to it, I love the build up to a holiday and planning all that. So I'm a bit of a spreadsheet geek. I have spreadsheets on my computer of things that I like to do. I'm not one of those people that will print it off and take it on holiday with me. But because now you do have to book the park days, I kind of like just keep a rough idea of where we want to go on those days. So yeah, so it definitely makes you have to plan a holiday a bit more if that's not what you like to do, and you've never planned, like when you go on holiday you just go with the flow in the day. You kind of can't really do that with Disney anymore because of the fact that you have to go to that first park. But yeah, just try not to stress about it too much. You can still go on holiday and still just like enjoy it. Like we would go into a theme park in the morning, and then we'd go to a water park in the afternoon, and if we wanted to pop into a different theme park that evening to watch the fireworks, you still can. But yeah, there is obviously that element that you have to plan. So yeah, it is a bit annoying, but just try not to stress about it too much. And what I do as well is I just have a theme park, a Disney park booked for every single day that we're there. So then if you do kind of wake up in the morning and think, actually I don't want to go to Universal Studios today, I want to go to a Disney park, at least then you've got one booked. But if you know you're not going to go to one, obviously cancel it. So like that morning or the night before, like before park opens, so then people who haven't got it booked can still try and get a space. But yeah, that's just personally what I do. I have a theme park booked for every day, and I kind of have it in order of like rides. Like if there's a theme park that has, like for instance, say Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom, you know that's probably going to have a long wait time. In case you can't get like the lightning lanes and like fast pass lightning lanes for it, I would have a few more reserved like Animal Kingdom days booked towards the end of the holiday, so that I could have another chance of getting on that ride. Same with like Rise of the Resistance, Hollywood Studios have some like backup days of Hollywood Studios booked towards the end of the holiday in case you couldn't get onto that ride. And that's kind of how I've tried to plan our holidays now. So another thing that we do, which I know some people might not want to do that, personally we try to avoid going to the parks on the weekends, just because we know there might be more locals who like go to the theme parks on the weekends, or people taking like long weekends off work and things like that. We notice the parks definitely are busier on the weekends. So what we might do is just like head to the parks in the morning for a little bit and get on a ride, and then we do still go to the water parks on the weekends. We'll go to like a water park, or we'll do some shopping, or we like going to places like Boggy Creek, so we'll do that on the weekends. Again, I know not everyone would have the luxury of like, if it's like a once in a lifetime holiday and you're only going there for 2 weeks, then yeah, you book those park days on the weekends and make the most of it. But as it's one of those places like we know we go on holiday there quite a lot. Like that's like our place that we really like to go. So yeah, we do avoid it on the weekends because we know we're going to go back. So yeah, I don't want to like say that in like a braggy way, but like it's just what we like to do, and we still like to have a chill when we're over there. So we'll spend like mornings around by the pool, or like and when we go to the water parks it's just like for a chilled afternoon. So that's kind of when I plan like our sort of more chilled days, is like if on the weekends. But yeah, as I said, like if you're only going once, then just keep it jam-packed, make it busy. Like Florida is a busy holiday regardless, even though on those chill days like you're still have things to do. So, and I thought I would just tie in the My Disney Experience app and Genie Plus. I kind of touched on the My Disney Experience app previously, but yeah, that's something definitely to have downloaded once you've got your Florida holiday booked, because that's where you can see all your future plans, like the park passes that you've got booked, your Disney tickets are linked through there, you can make dining reservations through there, and then you can see what reservations you've got on what days. And then also when you're in Orlando and you if you want to use Genie Plus, you need the app. So basically, yeah, you just wake up in the morning, you pay for Genie Plus, then you've got it for that day. Once you've been on your first ride, you can make another selection, or after, say if your first ride was at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you're going to the park at say 9 in the morning. After the park's been open for 2 hours, so at 11, you can make another selection because you've waited so long and you've still not been on that first ride that you selected. And yeah, it's good to have the app downloaded so that you're there in the morning and you can make your first selection at the time without wasting, because they do some of the more popular rides, they go quicker. So you want to be, if you are deciding to use Genie Plus, you want to be there at the right time without having to like download the app and download your credit card details or card details. So it's just kind of easy to have that all done already. And it's also just good to have like a little play around with the app before you go, just so you can kind of know how to use it, so there's not any like teething issues whilst you're out there that are going to hold, like you can still get teething issues with the app anyway, but if you already know what to do, then it's like not down to you if you're having issues. And like that's where if you're in the park and you want to mobile order any food, that's, you do it through the app. And so yeah, it's just good to have a little play around with that so you know how to use it before you go over there. For us, I was just like using it when I was in the ride queues, so if we wanted to mobile order some food, because I didn't want to feel like I was on my phone all the time, so literally while we were in the queue I would like order some food like for us to collect when we get off the ride, or a bit later on in the day I would have a look at when we could make our next selection, because the app is good like that as well. If you try to book a ride too soon and you can't, it will literally tell you the specific time that you're allowed to book one. So yeah, it's just good to have a little play around when you're in the queues. So car hire, I'm going to quickly touch on this one, because personally you don't need to hire a car in Florida, especially if budget's an issue. There's so much public transport over there, whether you use the Disney transportation, whether you use Ubers, Lyfts, whatever it is. So hiring a car has changed a lot over the years as well. It's a lot more expensive now. Prices are sort of like fluctuating, but still it is quite expensive. When we went last time, we paid half and half with my parents, and we booked it through a company called Discount Florida Car Hire. I actually emailed the guy rather than like just getting the quote online through the website. He does this thing called offline pricing, and personally I'm not actually sure what that is, but all as I know is that the offline pricing was a hell of a lot cheaper than the quote I was getting directly through the website. And that's just what we done. It has changed a lot. Like previously we would just look on like websites and like Avis and Budget and Alamo, companies like that, and just see which one was cheaper. Whereas right now, yeah, none of them are very cheap. Like they are a hell of a lot more expensive than they used to be. We paid £600 through Discount Florida Car Hire for the 2 weeks. So obviously it was like £300 per couple. You can also do like fly drives. So if you wanted to book your accommodation and your flights separately, if you do a fly drive, you can like just book your car hire with the flights, and then that means you can pay your flights off in like installments rather than having to pay them off in one hit. But yeah, as I say, we just use Discount Florida Car Hire, and we always request an offline price, and that's how we've got the better pricing recently. And budget was the next question I got asked a lot, like how we can afford to go and how we save for it. This is obviously a bit tricky, like it's a bit of a trickier one to answer, because obviously everybody's financial situation is different. Like for me and Daniel, if there's just 2 adults, we don't have to like worry like about kids or anything like that. So I know again our finance situation would be a bit different to other people. So yeah, this is just personally, this is just what we do, and this is how it works for us. So I've always been like really organised with our finances ever since like we moved in together. I was a bit bad with money when I was a teenager. Like I wasn't like awful, I wasn't in debt or anything, but I was just, yeah, a bit silly with money, and I was like living pretty much from payday to payday and like never having a spare penny. So I didn't want to be like that when me and Daniel moved in together. So I've always like kind of budgeted our finances. We have like 2 joint accounts. One is where all our money goes into and all our bills come out from, and then we have 2 savings accounts, and those one of them's like for holidays and things that we can dip into, and then the other one, yeah, like we're trying to build up, or just like for a rainy day, so if anything goes wrong and we need to dip into it. But as I said, I've always been really organised with our finances, so I'm just really good at keeping track of everything. And I have always said, like we both always said, that paying off a holiday, whether it be Florida or wherever we go, is like a bill to us. So how we would pay our council tax each month, we would pay so much into our savings account as if we were paying off a holiday, like even if we don't have anything booked, just so it kind of got us into the habit of putting that little bit of extra money away so that we can go on holiday. And I'm not going to like try and pretend that Disney's a cheap holiday, because everybody knows it's not. Like, there are ways that you can make savings and make a few cuts here and there, but still, once you've actually paid for those park tickets and everything, it does really add up. But personally, like me and Daniel, we aren't huge spenders. Like, we don't, we very rarely get takeaway, but I just enjoy cooking. We don't go out and like buy like stuff very often. Like, I'll occasionally buy myself some new clothes, but it's very rare. Like, I've got a dress in my wardrobe that I've been wearing since like 2014 now, 15. So yeah, so we aren't huge spenders. We have like, we go out for dinner. Sorry, there's a bus going by, so it's a bit loud. We go out for dinner maybe like twice a month. We like to go to the cinema every now and then. But yeah, most of our spare income, we kind of just try to save it. So once we get paid, we pay off all our bills, and then we leave ourselves with so much money each month that we can just spend on things if we want to. And then if become the end of the month we haven't spent that money, we'll just add it to the savings account. So we're not like forcing ourselves that we have to save it. Like, if we want to dip into it, we can. But if we don't, we just save that extra bit of money. And if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen the drama I had with this a couple of weeks ago. But one massive thing that helps us and contributes towards our savings is those like little pound coin tins. I'm gonna go grab, yes, so here it is. As I said, I had mad dramas trying to get one of these a couple of weeks ago. Normally you can just pick them up in like B&M, the Pound Shop, the Range, Home Bargains, but I couldn't find them anywhere. I literally was looking around everywhere, because we opened our one before the wedding, and then I needed another one ready for our holiday, and yeah, I couldn't find anyone. So I managed to find this little skull one in, I think it was the Pound Shop. My mum managed to find me some. My sister, in case she sees this, because she specifically told me it was her, not my mum. And these help us save so much. So for our Florida holiday in 2019, we had, I want to say it was like £700 or £800 in there, and genuinely all we do is £2 coins, £1 coins, and then like the odd, if we break into a note, say like a £20 note or a £10 note, if there's like a £5 just sat in, if it's like been in our purse or wallet for so long, we'll just add it into there, just like the actual notes and the £1 coins and £2 coins, not all like the 50p's and stuff. And you don't really end up missing that money. Like, so when you actually save like your bulk savings like in your bank account, you kind of like miss that money. Like, you know that that's going somewhere, whereas like the odd £1 coin, £2 coin, a £10 note here and there, you really don't actually notice it. And before the wedding, we had one for the wedding, which we only started like last year at some point, and we had like £700 in there. And yeah, it's just like a massive chunk of money that you can use towards like your spending money, or you could use it towards your park tickets and things like that. And as I said, like, it's money you don't notice, and it really adds up. So yeah, so that's just a little snippet of things that help us. I know there's a lot of information in there, so I hope I like rounded up a little bit. I have also done a Instagram like highlight before we went to Florida last time, with like a Q&A with some bits saved in there, so always check that out, and because that could be useful as well. As I said, we are going back next year, and that's a bit of a different trip for us. It's Daniel's 30th birthday next year, and I said to him, I was like, what would you like to do for your 30th? Is there anything big you want to do? And he personally said he wanted to go back to Disney, and he wanted to stay on site, so that's what we're doing next year. So we are splashing out a little bit more. It's also our 1st year anniversary whilst we're over there, but we're also hoping to move to Australia, so that'll be in 2024, maybe even a little bit after that. But that's our like end goal. So we wanted to have like a big Florida holiday next year, because we know after that we won't be able to go as frequently. It'll be every few years instead, because it's so much further. But yeah, so we just wanted to have a bit of a bigger holiday next year. So we're actually going for 16 nights. We are staying our first 3 nights at the Universal Lowe's Portofino Bay. And the reason we booked that one is because you get the free express passes if you stay at one of the like premier hotels of Universal, or the premium hotels, sorry. So that's Hard Rock and the 2, is it Royal Pacific and Lowe's Portofino Bay. You get early access into the park with all the Universal hotels, but you also get free unlimited express passes. Velocicoaster and Hagrid's is excluded from that, but again, if you've got express passes for all the other rides, you can just, there's those two, wouldn't really mind queuing. So yeah, so that's our first 3 nights, and then we're going on to the Caribbean Beach Resort with Disney. We booked the Disney like early booking offer which is still running till I think it's the 27th of July now, like this year. And basically if you book a Disney hotel, you get up to $1,200 of Disney dining and merchandise credit, so you can use it in any of the Disney like shops and restaurants, whether that's like in the hotels, in the theme parks. You also get, we got 2 Cirque du Soleil tickets and the $200 Disney spending money like little credit card that they give you. So yeah, so we thought we'd make use of that offer, because essentially you're getting, well, for us, we booked 13 nights at the Caribbean Beach Resort and we got $936 credit. So that's almost £1,000 of spending money that we can use on food or merchandise in the parks. So yeah, so it is actually quite a good offer. I know it's not quite as good as the dining plan that they used to do, but still, we never used the dining plan. So to us, we were going to stay on site next year anyway. So we booked this one because we were getting more for our money basically. And we actually were getting more for our money because I priced it up before that offer was announced, and I priced it up like once the offer was announced and we were like, knew we were definitely going to go. We waited to book because we was like, oh, we may as well see what the offer is going to be like, and it was literally the same price. So you actually are getting more for your money. Like if we'd booked it like the month before when we were considering it, we wouldn't have got that dining plan credit. Well, so because we booked the hotel and the tickets with Disney, well, only the Disney hotel and Disney tickets, to get that offer, we had to book our flights separately. So I was just looking on Skyscanner for a while and just looking at what was coming up cheapest, and we ended up booking with Virgin Atlantic. We got the economy delight seats, which are slightly more leg room, and they were £600 per person, and I think with BA it was like 560, 570, but it wasn't their, like, it was just their basic economy. So we just would rather pay that little bit of extra money for the extra leg room, and you get to like choose your seats for free with Virgin, whereas with BA, if you want to pre-book your seats, it's like 20, I can't remember the exact price, but you have to pay so much per person per leg of the journey, so it kind of adds up that way. So yeah, technically we've saved money anyway by, well, it would have been about the same price. But yeah, so flights are booked with Virgin. And then for spending money, we normally budget $200 a day for both of us. So not 200 each, 200 in total. And we have a little bit of cash, and we also use the Revolut card, which is like the app that you download, and then you can just use your card and you can track your spending through the app. And what I do is just like top up the app each day, or like couple of days in advance for the money for those few days, and then whatever we don't spend, we just carry on to the next day or like the days after, if that makes sense. And that actually really works for us. So it covers like our food, any shopping and stuff we want to do. Sometimes we'll spend a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, but yeah, aiming for $200 a day like comfortably does us. We both like sometimes have a cocktail with dinner and things like that. But yeah, so that is pretty much ideal for us. Like obviously if you can take more, then that's great, because then you can, like, you're not limited at all. But we've never gone there and like been like, oh, we can't do this, or we can't eat there, or we can't have that. Again, as I said, we're not huge spenders, so we don't buy like an awful amount of like merchandise and stuff when we're over there. Like we might buy like the odd little bit here and there, or do a little bit of shopping at the outlets. Personally, I love Sephora, so I will spend a bit of money in Sephora. But yeah, we're not huge shoppers. Like we don't go on holiday to shop really. So yeah, so our money kind of goes on car parking, like paying for the car parking. We pay for like food, drink. As I said, we do like a cocktail with our dinners, so like we'll have like a few drinks with dinner. That's kind of, oh, and obviously like snacks and stuff throughout the day at the theme parks, and then any little bit of like, sometimes we do, as I said, we do sometimes buy merchandise. So yeah, well, that's what our money goes on, and $200 a day does us perfectly. So I think it ends up being around £2,000, £2,400 is what it previously cost us, but obviously the exchange rate's always different, so I can't comment for sure. But yeah, that's just what we aim to do. Anything more is a bonus, but that's like the minimum that we kind of aim for. And 2 more tips that I have is watching vlogs. Watching vlogs before you go is such a good way of getting like tips on new things that you might want to try when you're over there, or things that you want to see or do. and it just makes like the planning and the lead up and the excitement to the holiday a bit more, because yeah, you're kind of like getting ready for it. So that's what we like to do in the lead up to the holiday. And Disney Food Blog is really good for downloading and like signing up to their newsletter. Whilst we were out there, we actually got a really good tip. We were in the queue at Disney Springs getting an ice cream, and I got a message through on my phone, and I just looked at it, and it was from Disney Food Blog saying, oh, this Disney ride is closing for a long refurbishment. And I clicked on it, and it was Mount Everest, and it was closing that day for, I don't actually know how long it was closing for, but it was going to be closed for the rest of our holiday. So we were actually quickly able to go to Animal Kingdom that night and ride it before it would have closed. So that was just kind of nice, because otherwise we wouldn't have known that. There probably was announcements that I just didn't like look up at, but yeah, it was just good to have that little kind of nudge while we were over there. And another thing that we do, which again isn't essential, but we always stay at the airport hotel the night before we go on holiday. And there are a couple of reasons for this. One, it kind of kickstarts your holiday. You can go out for dinner, you have like a glass of Prosecco, like you're just all like buzzing, ready to go away the next day. But also, we had some near misses when I was younger. Like I was going on holiday with family, and the car broke down. Like we had like dramas, like there was traffic, and we've like had so many times where we've nearly missed a flight that after one time, like the final time it happened, my dad was like, never again, we are staying at the airport hotel the night before, so that we aren't jinxing ourselves, and we can get on that, like we can just go to, we're already at the airport, so we ain't got to worry about the journey there and things like that. And it's kind of, because we've done that for so many years now, ever since I've been going on holiday with my family, it kind of like holiday tradition to us. So we always just book an airport hotel the night before, and we try and book that as early as possible. I always book it through booking.com, again, because you can like keep a track on prices. So I always book it with a price that I'm happy with, but I do check it every now and then again, because sometimes you can see one that's cheaper, or the same hotel might have an offer on that's cheaper. So with booking.com you can just cancel for free if you book one of those particular rooms. So yeah, so that's just what we do, and I absolutely love it now, because as I said, it really kickstarts your holiday. So I think that just about covers everything. Again, as I said, there's a lot of information to take on here. I'm not trying to say I'm an expert at all, like I'm just trying to answer those few questions that people asked me to do a video on. So yeah, I hope you found this helpful. I know, as I said, it is a lot of information, so if you do still feel like you have questions or you want to ask me anything, like feel free, like my inbox is like open to anybody. But yeah, somebody probably could be watching this and be like, well, she does this and this wrong. So like, if you have any tips for me, you think I'm doing something wrong, like please feel free to let me know. But yeah, as I said, like I am always happy to talk about Florida, talk about holiday planning. So yeah, this is just something I like doing. So yeah, I hope you might have found this information useful, and I'm gonna go now and I'm gonna get my passport picture done. Yeah, I also just thought I'd say that we actually had such a good time and like really enjoyed like vlogging Florida. So we're definitely going to do it for our holiday next year. And because we've got a few things coming up, and no more wedding to plan, and no more honeymoons and stag do's and hen do's and things that's going to take up our time, and I actually have time now to edit vlogs and stuff after work and bits like that, I'm gonna try and get into the habit of doing like weekly vlogs. So next weekend I'm going away for the weekend with the girls in my gym class. We are hiring a cottage, we're going like on walks, we're gonna like cook healthy food, go out for a pub dinner, things like that. So I'm gonna vlog that, and I'm gonna just like do like weekly vlogs of like things that we ate that week, things that we get up to, just because we've really enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm just gonna see how it goes.